What is up, everyone? Welcome to part 4 of the Battle Aero Drift Kart build series. Now in this video, we are going to install everything that has to do with steering on the drift kart. Now this component is very crucial and the reason why these karts can drift the way it does. Now if you guys haven't already, go ahead and watch our last 3 parts of the video, and if you guys have already, please enjoy the video. And also if you guys could hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, we'll very much appreciate it. Alright, so here are the parts that you need for this install. Now there's way too many to name, but go ahead and match whatever you see on this clip, and I can tell you this, you definitely need the steering wheel. So the first step is you're going to go ahead and grab the steering shaft and you're going to install these parts in this particular order. Now we did put the first 2 parts in the wrong order. We're actually supposed to switch them up and have the metal collar second instead of first. And every other part is the same. So the next step is you're going to go ahead and grab the steering shaft support, the half crescent collars, and the hardware, and go ahead and install it onto the kart. So with the half crescent collars, you're going to place it under the bar and you're going to install it with the other collars that are already welded onto the steering shaft support. So you're going to go ahead and grab the pivot bearing from the steering shaft, and it's a little bit easier to install it off the shaft, so go ahead and take it off and install it on the front of the kart. Now there is 3 levels of adjustment, but we have it at the middle on our karts. After you got that in, go ahead and install the steering shaft back into the bearing. Now you're going to go ahead and align the steering shaft with the steering support that we installed earlier. Then you're going to go ahead and secure the steering shaft to the steering support with a flange bolt and nut. Just a quick reminder, we're not tightening the bolts just yet. We're going to make sure all the components are on and we're going to properly align it, then we're going to tighten the bolts. So right now just keep it loose and hand thread it in. We're going to have to do a little geometry on this step, just kidding. But however, you will have to make sure the steering shaft is about 135 degrees to the flat part of the pedal plate as shown in this video. After you got the steering shaft to 135 degrees, go ahead and tighten the collars on the steering support, and you can go ahead and tighten the collar on the drive shaft as well. Now you can go ahead and grab the steering wheel and the steering wheel cover and go ahead and install it onto the steering shaft. Now you're going to go ahead and use the smaller M6 nuts and bolts to install the steering wheel. After you got the steering wheel installed, go ahead and tighten the bolts on the steering shaft base.
It pivots, see?
The next step is you're going to go ahead and grab the tie rod bracket, and you're going to make sure the tie rod bracket is spaced out about 1.25 inches from the steering shaft pivot bearing.
We need to measure, we need this gap, this right here to here, this gap has to be 1.25.
Okay, 1.25.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and tighten the tie rod bracket after you properly spaced it out. The next step is go ahead and grab the longer flange bolt and insert it from the back side of the tie rod bracket. We usually have it on the 2nd or 3rd one, so go ahead and put it onto the bracket just for now. You may need a drill bit to open up the holes just a bit because of the powder coat and it's a tight fit, so if you guys need to, go ahead and just slightly open up the hole. So now we're going to work on the front corners of the kart. Grab the 2 bearings and insert it from the top and bottom of the tube. And then you're going to go ahead and sandwich the bearings with the steering knuckle and insert the M10 bolt from on top and secure it with the nut on the bottom. And just a quick note, you just want to get it nice and snug. You don't want to over tighten it.
Yeah, just a little bit snug.
So now we're going to install the hub. Make sure you install the spacers on each side and you're going to sandwich the hub with that. And you also don't want to over tighten the nut on the hubs as well because you do not want to crush the bearings.
If you go too tight, you'll crush the bearing in this hub. So steering should still be able to spin free like this.
Go ahead and grab the M8 bolt and nut, and you're going to insert it from the bottom of the steering knuckle, and this will serve as a steering stopper.
It stops it right there.
Now we're going to go ahead and move back to the tie rod bracket. Now you're going to go ahead and grab 4 M8 washers, and you're going to place it onto the bolt, and then you can go ahead and grab the 2 tie rods and place it into that bolt, and then secure it with a nut.
Put that on top. So this pit arm has different mounting points. We usually start with the center, so this is right now the center, the middle adjustment. What it does is the more higher you go, it makes it it adjusts the steering ratio. So the higher you go, it's a slower steering ratio. The lower you go, it's a longer length. So it increases the throw, make a faster steering ratio. But we like to use the center. It seems to be the best one that we like. But you guys can adjust to your likings. Alright, now we're going to mount the tie rod to the knuckle, and then on this knuckle we designed it to have different Ackerman adjustments. So if you go all the way to the outside, it is 0 Ackerman. The more you go in is a little bit more Ackerman. What we recommend to start with is the middle one, so that's what we're going to install. We have middle Ackerman. Alright, now let's do the other side.
Now we're going to go ahead and install the wheels on the front hubs.
Alright, so we're gonna do the alignment real quick. So you're gonna loosen the tie rods. And you just hold the wheels centered. You adjust the, we try to have 0 toe. So we just try to see if this is parallel with the frame. This knuckle is parallel to the frame, and so we got it. So once you get the alignment straight, you just tighten down the tie rods.
Now this pretty much concludes this part of the drift kart build series, now that you got all the steering components installed. If you guys are interested in your own drift karts, please check out our website www.battleaero.com and get your own drift karts today. And be sure to look out for our next future videos where we're going to install the electric motor, and we'll create another video installing the gas motor. But with that said, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.
That was good.